keep it brief, but I will keep your attention, I promise. Now, I haven't heard too many people who've been in the mortgage business sitting down and talking to you. So my name is Mike Hill, and I own the Mortgage Specialists. And I've owned them for 26 years. Now, we were the #1 broker, not just only in New Hampshire, but in the United States, multiple years. In addition, Fannie Mae has recognized me and I've done their training videos. So you could say I'm an expert in the mortgage business. Now, Mr. Perlow, who recently resigned. You may remember I just called him a drug launderer. He didn't dispute that. He resigned instead. Mr. Perlow, we spoke, Mr. Pappas, you brought up primary bank. Mr. Sununu, you brought up FRM. Well, you know who reported the scandal of FRM to the AG's office? Well, that would be myself. Right, 2007. You know who I reported it to? Assistant Attorney General Perlow. Isn't that interesting? Now, Perlow, by the way, is an insurance defender for McLean Law Firm. Now, seeing that we've taken this time to find out making the proper choice, how did an insurance defender become our banking commission? Because he was covering up the crimes of FRM. The crimes of FRM are important because it brings you into the corruption in the banking department, right? For instance, Mr. Little sits right next to Kevin Abard. Kevin Abard is the one who sponsored the bill for FRM. Except for if you remember, and I put it on stateofcorruption.org, if you're on notice, that I said the hearing was corrupted. And what did we have? George Lambert, who worked with Mr. Abard on the bill, confessing on a radio interview with me, telling the victims of that to be quiet. In fact, Mr. Sununu, I talked to Mr. Abard, and Mr. Abard was putting together a complaint along with mine to the Department of Justice. You talked him out of it. In fact, you had him put it to the AG's office. Now think about this. Well, I have text messages from I have the text messages with me. In fact, his exact words was, Sununu smells blood in the water. And when we're done, you can read them to everybody if you'd like. And Mr. Abard is not that aware for him. Mr. Sununu. And then, Mr. Sununu, then you called Harry Bean the same day. I spoke to Harry. He said that you guaranteed him that Mr. Head wouldn't have a position on this council. Right? Harry Bean said that on the same day. No, I have those text messages. So this is a power play here. So now remember now, so Kevin Abard with FRM. What happened with FRM? Hildreth, the banking department, own brothers were on the Ponzi scheme. I reported it to Perlow.
You're going to make the nexus to Jerry Little, right?
Excuse me?
You're going to make the nexus.
Oh, this is what Mr. Little was with Mr. Abard and putting FRM complaint together. See, there's the move. So what happened? They canceled the hearing now, didn't they? They didn't make a decision on that. And this is the reason why. That isn't the way to the banking department. What's happening is the banking department in Perlow is protecting the crop, which involves the drug launderers. Granite State Credit Union, I called them up. Furley, Florida, who was the assistant banking commissioner during FRM, who became the banking commissioner afterwards, was accused of not going after and protecting the people. We just made him the CFO of Granite State Credit Union. Primary bank, front page of the Union Leader, right? They're not going to sue me. I just called them drug dealers. You know them, right, Mr. Pappas? In fact, you're friends with Mr. Angos, aren't you? Exactly. See what I'm saying? So they are protecting them. They're not federally audited. They're state audited. That's why. That's the secrets in the state comes out in there. And so the drug launderers are putting their money primary bank. They're not being audited. They're being audited. So an associate been friends of you for quite a few years, hasn't he? Right. See, here's the move. Control the banking department. You control the silence of the people in this state. What I'm saying is, simply put, have an investigation with the Department of Justice. Now, I just received 87 complaints back from the Department of Justice that it is being investigated. The DEA has known for 6 years that these are individuals that are involved in the corruption. So the banking department, that's what we're going on right now. Mr. Perlow leaves the minute I call him a drug launderer. Now let's think about this. Kakavas, who was the prosecutor of FRM, right? His business partner, Mark Howard, represented FRM. He was his business partner months before. Nobody noticed? How about the appraisers? They only had 9 to 10 appraisers on each house. Where did they go to jail? Where did the lawyers go to jail in closing them? They were covering for Sununu. Sununu is part of that Ponzi scheme. And that's why, Shaheen, we're right about the rest of you. And if you'd like to see the text messages, oh, right. So you didn't text Mr. Abar. You didn't talk about FRM women, did you? Right. So we do have the evidence, and it is with the Department of Justice, and I demand that this committee has to review this, has to go into it, who would investigate those banks. Listen, did you notice the drug dealers didn't want to sue me? Call me a drug dealer to see if I don't sue you, right? And everything I'm saying about you and you, I can verify, right? That's the plan. There's no mistakes here. An insurance defender is the banking commissioner. Listen, I have fault consent orders from these people. They've offered me $50 million to be quiet. Now, I have that. I put it on the internet. You'd like to see it, Mr. Sununu? Would you like to see it? No, I didn't think so. So it's all there. Liberty International. Right. All I have to do is be quiet. But they're protecting the people that are killing our children. They own a treatment center. This is involved. This is the laundering of that money. Any questions? I didn't think so. And the tool that I haven't...
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You made 80% of your argument towards the FRM. We're here with a public testimony.
Did you hear drug dealers too?
No.
Did you hear money laundering?
I know all about drug dealing. I've in a previous life.
Really? Did you know they're laundering?
I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
you mentioned very little about the candidate before us today.
The candidate was
which
working
is-
with Avard on the false... This was the deal with the bill. Lambert worked with the victims, told the victims not to say anything. It's on the radio. He confessed, right? And, oh, did you shrug? Did you want to look at the radio show? So this is what happened. They talked to those victims. Little worked with Avard on this. There you go. How's that? And then they didn't tell me why it didn't go to the Department of Justice. I can put the complaint on it. He's saying it was all a scam. The state senator who sponsored the bill. Now, I did get it to the Department of Justice. What did we ask him? So it is directly related. So if Mr. Little worked with Avard on the bill, FRM bill, that turned out to be a scam, they were trying to have the victims take pennies so they wouldn't investigate the banking commissioner. That's a fact. We did it on Gronk Talk on the radio. Lambert confessed. He was getting 20% for the victims. So does that answer your question?
No, but I'll take.
Well,
that
then
as
you
an
just
answer.
didn't understand. Here.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions?
Further questions?
I didn't think so. And the tool in my box is a hammer. Thank you.
And a big screen TV. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council Sununu, do you wish to respond?
Oh, no.
No,
I'm not responding. Just ask. You want to see those text messages?
Just ask.
Ernest, is it Loomis?